What's up, guys? Hey, Jared Beckstrand here, Doctor of Physical Therapy, ToneandTitan.com, and this is going to be a 30-minute low-intensity, steady-state cardio workout that you can do at home with zero equipment required. It's even postpartum and diastasis recti friendly. Let's get into it right now. All right, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today here on Tone and Titan. Can't wait to smash through this workout with you guys. I hope you enjoy it. If you like the workout, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, I hope you subscribe to Tone and Titan. You can do that. That little red arrow sitting right down there. Hit the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. Okay, before I jump right into this, I've got to give you a little bit of a background on this. So, as a doctor of physical therapy, I specialize in postpartum care and especially in postpartum fitness. That being said, I actually run an online group for women to help you to lose weight after pregnancy. Now, when I say after pregnancy, if it's been 6 weeks, 6 months, or even like up to 6 years, if you've had a child, if you're interested in losing weight, then this is the group for you. An important part of that group is this idea of LISS cardio, or this low intensity, steady state cardio. And so I'm filming this partly for that group, but partly to kind of spread the word for this LISS cardio idea, this lower intensity yet steady state heart rate activity that hopefully is going to help you guys out. Now, if you're interested in that, if you're interested in learning more about this group and in learning this, in losing this postpartum baby weight, the link to that is down below, mommytummyfix.com. I've also got it linked down below. You can learn more about the group, how to become a part of it, and the program that I put together to help you to tone and strengthen your abs the right way, as well as to lose weight, eat healthier, and live healthier. So that's the goal there. Check the link out if you're interested in learning more. But let's get into this LISS activity. So there's quite a few LISS workouts out there in the YouTube world. As I try to share more and more of them with my group, I've learned that not a lot of them are really postpartum friendly, meaning they do a lot of exercises in those workouts that you shouldn't necessarily be doing if you've recently had a kid, at the risk of an abdominal separation. I don't want to get too much into that, but suffice it to say, for this activity, or for this workout, I've put together a string of exercises that are all postpartum friendly, meaning we're not going to stress your abdomen too much. I'm going to be talking a lot about the right muscles to contract during this workout, and so I hope that helps you guys out. Also, I'm going to be talking a lot more about LISS and this low intensity steady state cardio and exactly what it is. But the cool part about LISS is I can actually do that during the workout. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna be done talking for the intro portion of this. This is a 30-minute low intensity steady state cardio workout you can do at home with zero equipment, and especially if you're postpartum or if you've recently had a kid, it's totally safe for you as well. So I've got an interval timer down here in front of me. It's set for 40-20, meaning we're going to be doing about 40 seconds of work and about 20 seconds of rest. I've got 9 exercises that we're going to get through, so we're going to do 60 seconds each of 9 exercises. There's a small rest break in between each set that we're going to do. It's going to take us about 30 minutes to get through it total. With no further ado, I'm going to hit start on that timer. And let's just get things warmed up for a second here, you guys. And so to warm up, I kind of like to just do some side steps and some arm swings. Basically, the idea is to just get the blood flowing a little bit, just to get some of our bigger muscle groups moving. This is a total body workout. We're going to be working all of the major muscle groups in our body. It's going to be some upper body. It's going to be some lower body. There's not maybe a whole lot of core involved with this, but I'm going to be talking about your core. I'm going to be talking about your deepest core muscles and keeping them active during this workout. Just in an effort to help you guys out. And so let's see, that's 40 seconds. We'll go 20 more seconds on this, and then we'll kind of work in maybe some tall knees, some high marches with some overhead. That being said, let's talk for a second about intensity. Now, a lot of times when we think about intense workouts and workout intensity, so there's 60 seconds there, tall knees with some marches, looks just like this. Just warming things up, keeping it easy. Let's talk about intensity of workouts. And so we're all familiar, most of us are familiar with a HIIT style workout. High intensity interval training is the acronym there. This is basically just the opposite. Low intensity, steady state cardio. the difference, now when we talk about workout intensity, that always refers to heart rate. And so the idea is to not get our heart rate too high with this, to actually stay in a lower intensity range where our body actually, so 20 more seconds on the warm up and then we'll get started with the workout. We'll get some lateral lunge squats going. So the goal is to keep our heart rate down a little bit lower in like a 50 to 70% of our heart rate max range. I'll explain all about that here in just a second. But we're not necessarily going all out. Let's get things started. So some lateral lunge squats. Standing upright, we're gonna step laterally, we're gonna come down into a squat, and then we're gonna finish up on the other side. So here we go, step right, squat, and then come back and finish right up here. Looks just like that. So to finish my thought, this lower intensity workout, well here, let me talk about high intensity intervals for a second. High intensity intervals, we do a higher amount of work, a higher intensity work, meaning we're getting our heart rate up super high, and then we intersperse that with lower intensity intervals. We only got 3 seconds left, just like that, and then we're just gonna kind of march things out. So the higher intensity intervals, and we intersperse those with kind of lower rest periods. The goal with this workout is to get our heart rate up not quite so high, but to keep it in this steady, consistent range. Exercise number 2 is what we call a quiet jack. You're gonna take a step to your left, raise your left hand over your head, and then finish on that left side. Take a step to your right, raise your right hand over the head, and finish on that side. So it looks just like that, quiet jumping jack. And so the goal with the low intensity, steady state cardio is to stay in a little bit lower intensity heart range, and to keep it there for a little bit longer. So the goal is to get my heart rate up. I'm going to tell you the range that you want here in just a second, because that's something that's not out there. As I was looking in the YouTube world, there's not really a whole lot of information. There's some workouts that claim to be low intensity or low impact. There's our 40 seconds there. Just keep moving. Just keep stepping side to side. Let's see, next we're going to get into a deadlift with an overhead reach. Is going to be our next exercise. We're going to start that up in about 5 seconds. So really simple, keep your legs straight, keep your back straight. You're going to reach down towards your toes. We're going to pull up into the deadlift, and then we're going to pull up into the overhead reach. So down towards our toes, up into the deadlift, up towards the overhead reach. Keep your core tight, keep your back tight, use your butt, use your hips to pull yourself upright, and it looks just like that. Okay, so while we're doing this one, here's the math that I'm going to throw at you. And so you take the number, in order to find the heart rate range that I want your heart rate in, we take the number 220 and we subtract your age in years. So for me, I'm 37 years old. I get 100, and I think it's 189. I forgot the math on that. No, it's not 189. Whatever that is, you guys. So there's 40 seconds on that. Next, we're going to get into some side step lunges, or some side lunge steps. 220 minus your age. And then that's going to give you a number. You multiply that number by 0.5 and 0.7, and that is what is going to give you a range. It's 183, you guys. That's what it is. I'm sitting here doing math in my head. So let's see. We're going to get down into a slight lunge position. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's about as far as I can go with the camera. And then we're just going to go 4 steps back. So you're kind of down in this squat position. Quads are engaged, butt's engaged. That's what it looks like. Okay, to finish my thought, you guys, so 220 minus your age, and then we're going to take that number, multiply that by 0.5 and 0.7, and you're going to get a range. And that is going to be your LISS, or your fat burn heart rate range. Looks just like this, you guys. So 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. And so again, just keep moving during the 20-second low interval. Next thing we're going to get into is going to be a curtsy lunge row. So that'll give you a range. So for me, for example, so 220 minus 37 is going to be 183. When I multiply that by 0.5, I get 92. Okay, so here we go, some curtsy lunge rows. You're going to drop, so right leg behind left, and we're going to pull into a row, and then we're going to go back up straight. Left leg behind right, and we're going to pull into a row, and then we're going to come back up straight. So it looks just like that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get through this thought, I promise. So 183 times 0.5 is 92. 183 times 0.7 is 128. And so for a true low intensity, steady state cardio activity, such as what I'm trying to give you guys right now, I need my heart rate for my age to stay between 92 and 128. 3, 2, 1, let's get some side steps going. And so, here we go. No, it's not pause. Sorry, you guys, technology. Give me 1 second. Resume. I don't know why that paused on me. And so that's the heart rate range that I am personally going for. 3, 2, 1. We're going to get into some alternating reverse lunges. So standing on my left, right drops back behind me, and then come right back up. Standing on my right, left drops behind me. Looks just like that. Okay, so alternating reverse lunges, a little bit better on the knee joint, getting some quad, getting some hip activation going. It's a good one. Okay, so my range is I want my heart rate to be between 92 and 128. And so I've got my, there's a lot of really good heart rate monitors on the market these days. Polar makes some great ones. Garmin, Fitbit, Apple, all brands that I love. And so let's see, let's get into the next one. So the alternating reverse lunge, now we're gonna do some side crunches to the right side is our next exercise. Let's start that up here in 5 seconds. So the side crunch to the right. So I'm gonna bring my right hand up behind my head. I guess beginner mode would be down to the side and then straight back up. Try to keep your stomach tight, try to keep everything sucked in while you're doing that. If you feel like you can do a little bit more of an activity, I want to bring my right leg up to the side and then back over. Make sure you're going to the side. I don't want you to go forward with that. We're trying to avoid activating that rectus abdominis muscle just for the obliques. So get a good stretch and then we're coming over to the side. Looks just like that. And so if you're looking for a heart rate monitor to wear like while you're doing these activities, those are the ones that I recommend. Check the description to the video and you can get some really great heart rate monitors. As I mentioned, I've got an Apple Watch here. Okay, so there we go. I've got my Apple Watch. I've also got actually a chest strap on, so I've got a Polar chest strap on, just because that's a little more accurate than the wrist-based heart rate. Side crunches to the left hand's up behind my head, and we're gonna, looks just like that. So, great exercise for the hip flexor, great exercise for the obliques, and it looks just like that. Great exercise actually is a lot of balance, those lateral hip muscles, so the glute med, glute min group over there. Looks just like that, you guys. We got about 20 seconds left. So if you're looking for a heart rate monitor to wear while you're doing these types of activities, check the description to the video. I've got a few of my favorites. Because really, when we talk about workout intensities, that's what we're referring to. And if you're not tracking your heart rate, really, there's no way that you can track how intensely you're working through the workout. So that's why I recommend those. And so, like for example, right now I'm in like a 100 range. So like it's like as I peek at it, I'm like 98 to 100 right now. So I could probably take things up a little more intense. Let's see. Last exercise, we're gonna do some scap pinches. Right here with the hands, right here with the shoulders. So it looks just like that. The goal is to really retract your shoulder blades together. Really try to pinch those together. And then you want to keep your elbows up. Elbows are at a 90 degree. So it looks just like that. I'm gonna kick up the intensity a little bit. I'm gonna kick things up a little higher so that I can get into that range. This is our last exercise, you guys. This is it for our first set. We're gonna get about a 60-second break in, and then we're gonna go into set number 2. So it looks just like that. I guess it's really like a minute and 20 seconds because we're going to do 20 seconds on this lower interval and then jump back into it. So in about 10 seconds, that will be our first break. If you need some water, grab it. If you need to walk around the room, grab a couple of deep breaths. Go ahead and do that. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to stay right here. I'm actually going to check my camera. Whenever I shoot these videos, you guys, I've done too many of these that like have failed. I can't tell you the number of workout videos that I have shot that didn't work because the camera stopped like halfway through this. I'm just gonna peek real quick. Okay, looks like we're good. Looks like we're still rolling. So things are all right. Okay, so this is our first break. Again, if you need a drink of water, if you need to, take just a couple deep breaths, go ahead and do that. We're at the first break. So you've got about 30 more seconds left. And then we're going to get into that lateral lunge squat again for our second set. So same 9 exercises that we just ran through. We're going to do 1 minute of each of those. And that will be our second set. We'll do it one more time. That will be our third set. In about 10 seconds, the lateral lunge and squat. And so you're taking a big step to the side, ducking down into a lunge, and 3, 2, here we go. So big step, duck, and then right back up. Big step, duck under it. I tell people it's like you're kind of sneaking under a fence, or like you're ducking under a pole, something like that. Great way to engage the hips, engage the core. I don't want you to round forward with this. You notice that as I come under, my chest stays up, my shoulders stay back, my face is still at the camera over here, so it's not collapsing down this way and then trying to pull up. So mind your back as we're going through these exercises. So it looks just like that. We've only got 5 more seconds left. Good, just like that. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Awesome, you guys. Next, we got the quiet jacks after this. So keep moving. Keep your heart rate up. So see, I'm at 110 right now. So again, my range, I'm looking for 92 to 128. One really easy way. Well, here, let me finish that thought after we get into these quiet jacks. I'm going to start with my right side. Standing on my left, right leg goes out, right hand comes up, and then I'm going to alternate. Looks just like that. One really good way to measure the intensity of your workout, whether or not you're in the right range with this, would be if you could carry on a conversation, such as I'm doing right now. I'm able to talk through this. I'm working hard. It's not easy, but I don't have to take breaks from my conversation. That's a really simple way to gauge the intensity of how hard you're working. If you're unable to carry on a conversation and form complete sentences and complete ideas, there's our 40-second interval, you're probably working out a little too high. Now, I'll start another thought here in about 10 seconds. So that was our quiet jacks. Next, we're going to hit that deadlift with the overhead reach. We're going to do that in about 5 seconds. Looking good, you guys, looking strong. Here we go. 3, 2, here we go. So the deadlift, keep your back straight, keep your hinge at your hips, pull through your butt, pull through your hamstrings to come to upright, and then we're going to reach up and over our head. So it looks just like that. And so here's the thing. In your body, you have 3 different energy sources. We refer to them as our macronutrients. Food is fuel, right? And so we get our fuel in our body from carbs, proteins, and fats that we eat. And so if you're working out at a high intensity, meaning if you get up above that 70% heart rate range, you're actually drawing primarily from carbohydrates as your main energy source. The reason behind that is oxygen becomes a little bit, oxygen depletes when you get up into the higher heart rate range. Let's see, next we got our side step, so the side lunge steps. Quarter squat, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm coming back. Looks just like that. Okay, so in the higher heart rate range, your body's gonna pull primarily from carbohydrates as its main energy source because your body doesn't need oxygen to metabolize a carb. The higher the intensity of the workout, the shallower your breathing becomes. It becomes an anaerobic activity, meaning without oxygen, versus an aerobic activity, which means with oxygen. And so, because when our heart rate's higher, 3, 2, 1, we pull primarily from those carbohydrates. That's the primary energy source that we're burning. Now, if we don't ever kind of cross that threshold, if we don't ever get up into that anaerobic training, we stay in the aerobic training. Sorry, 3, 2, 1. I lost my spot. So the curtsy lunge rows, you guys, right here. Just curtsy lunge down into a row, curtsy lunge, and down into a row. Pulling with our back, good posture, head up, chest high. Looks just like this. And so if we don't ever cross that threshold, if we can stay down into a range where our heart rate isn't spiked as high, and we are sorry, brain dump. Heart rate, it doesn't spike as high. There's still an abundance of oxygen. That's what I wanted to say. All of a sudden, our body uses fat as the primary source of energy for those types of activities. Your body needs oxygen in order to metabolize fat molecules. If you take away that oxygen, it's got to go somewhere else, and it always goes to the carbohydrate energy source. But if there's still this abundance of oxygen, let's see, what else did we do? The curtsy lunge with the rows, and then we're alternating reverse lunges, you guys. Left foot first, drop down, and drop down. Looks just like that. If there's still an abundance of oxygen in our system, your body can then metabolize your listen to me, the fat molecules, which it pulls from your fat cells, better. So in all honesty, it becomes a more efficient way to burn fat. The crazy thing about these types of workouts, these types of activities, I have people all the time, I have ladies come to me who say, you know, I feel like I'm not even working out. I feel like I could literally go all day with your LISS activities, and I just don't feel like it's very effective. Trust the process, you guys. That's what I tell people all the time. All you got to do is just trust what I'm saying. Follow along, hit this workout. It only takes 30 minutes. You know, the recovery time on it's a lot quicker. Let's see, what are we getting into next? Side crunch right. The recovery time's a lot quicker. It's a lot less stress on your muscles and on your joints, and it's incredibly effective. So if you've been working hard, if you've been, you know, going to the gym, doing your higher intensity classes, you've reached this plateau where you're like, maybe the idea, maybe the solution is that I need to work harder. I mean, believe it or not, you guys, sometimes the solution is you actually need to work a little lighter. You actually need to take it a little easier. You're getting so good at your anaerobic conditioning, meaning your cardiovascular conditioning, your body's way of metabolizing those carbohydrates at that higher heartburn range, the 20-second low interval, that you've totally neglected this other energy source and your ability to burn through this fat energy and these fat molecules. And so that's what we're after with this workout. So I'm at about 107, 106 heart rate range right now, side crunch to the left. And so my intensity is just about perfect for what I'm trying to accomplish. I could probably go a little higher if you're at home. If you feel like you could increase your intensity on top of what I'm doing, please feel free to do so. I hope you're not talking as much as I am. That's kind of where a lot of my focus is on. And again, when we talk about intensity, we talk about the age-adjusted maximum heart rate range. And so depending on your age, if you're older than I am, if you're older than 37, your range is going to be lower. If you're younger than 37, your range is going to be higher. And so keep that in mind. And if you're not tracking your intensity, if you're not using your heart rate, really you don't know how hard you're going, and you don't know what fat burn zone that you, or excuse me, what heart rate zone that you might be in, whether it's this fat burn zone or it's a higher, you know, aerobic condition or anaerobic conditioning zone. Scap pinches, you guys, right here. This is our last set of our second round. So this is round number 2. We're going to do one more round with each of these. We got 40 seconds of these. And so sometimes when I run people through this type of workout, people will say, well, wait, aren't you doing intervals? Aren't you doing like a high interval and a low interval? And you're exactly right. But you'll notice during the high interval, I'm not going all out. And so for it to be a legit like HIIT workout, you need to be like in an 80 to 90% heart rate max during that high interval. For these high intervals, I'm definitely not even touching that. But then for the low interval, you want your heart rate to come down pretty significantly. So high end, low end, I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm kind of staying not quite in the middle. I'd say still the lower, below average, but I'm trying to stay kind of right in that middle range, and I'm trying to stay there. So my high intervals aren't as high, but my low intervals aren't as low. Oh, I got to step it up a little bit, you guys. I'm down at like 97 right now. Keep your eye on your heart rate. Again, if you need a monitor, if you're looking for something to be able to monitor this, oh, I might mention, I'm sorry you guys, this is your second rest break. If you need a drink, go grab one. If you need to walk around, get some deep breaths, go do it. If your heart rate's too high, this is a good chance to kind of bring it back down. If your heart rate's too low, you might kind of do what I'm doing. You might take this rest break and still hit just kind of some side steps, some marches with it. You got 20 more seconds. It's my OCD, you guys, one more time. Okay, camera's still rolling, things are still looking good. And this is great. We've only got one more round of each of those 9 exercises to get through. We're gonna start that up in 5 seconds with the lateral lunge squats. Duck underneath that fence. So I'm gonna take a big step to the left, duck down, and pop up to the right, or pop up to the left, over to the right, pop up to the right. So it looks just like that. Engage the core, engage the quads. Hips should work with this. We've got the glute med as we're doing this lateral lunge. And then as we pull ourselves back upright, hip extensors, so the glutes, and then the knee extensors, so the quads. Those are the areas that I want you to feel this. Keep your chest back, keep your head high. Looks just like that, you guys. Okay, 10 more seconds left. And so I mentioned earlier, a good way to gauge how hard you're working, you should be able to carry on a normal conversation with someone while you're doing these LISS activities. Looks just like that. But I highly recommend that you grab one of those heart rate monitors. The wrist-based ones are totally fine. They do an adequate job, especially because we're after a range, 50 to 70% of that age-adjusted heart rate. Quiet jacks, you guys, we're gonna hit them on the right side. Here we go. So the wrist-based monitors are completely adequate. For the purposes of this video, I wanted to strap on the chest strap just so it was a little more accurate. The chest straps are more accurate. I mean, it's right over your heart versus measuring the pulses through your wrist. And so that's why I elected to go with the chest strap for this workout. Nice job, you guys. And so 50 to 70% heart rate is what I'm after. I'm able to breathe. That means my body's getting plenty of oxygen. It's able to metabolize fat molecules a little easier as we're doing that. Let's check and see where I'm at. 109. Looks good. And so, one more time, I'm 37. If you guys are about my age, you want to stay about with this intensity. If you're younger than me, you need a little bit higher intensity because your range, your 50 to 70% heart rate range, is going to be a little higher. Deadlifts with that overhead reach. Keep your back flat, hinge at your hips, reach down towards the ground, pull with your glutes to the upright, and then we're gonna raise those hands to the upright. Looks just like that. So the deadlift with the overhead reach. Nice job, you guys. Looking good, looking strong. This is our 3rd set. We're gonna get through these. I'm gonna try to kick things up a little bit, see if I can get my heart rate up, maybe just a little bit higher. Looks just like that. Should be about done. We got 5 seconds left. Looks good. Okay, and so keep that in mind. A lot of the workouts, again, as I was researching different workouts that I could share with the group, a lot of them will say, low intensity, low impact, interval training, kind of those catchy buzzwords, but none of them mention anything about heart rate. Let's see, side lunge steps. So we're gonna do about 4 side lunge steps. None of them mention anything about heart rate. You guys, you can't know how hard you're working out. You can't know what intensity you're working out without some way to monitor it. And it's gonna be different for everyone. There's actually a lot more factors that go into it. For simplicity's sake, I've presented this age-adjusted heart rate range. That's just the easiest way to calculate it without actually going in and getting a metabolic test done. It's a good ballpark. It's a good figure to kind of shoot for. 5, 4, looks good, you guys. One more. Nice job. Just like that. So keep that in mind. If you're not monitoring your heart rate through your workout, there's just really no way to tell how intense you're going. And so again, I'm at a 107 right now, right in that 50 to 70% range, right in that heartburn range. Oh, shoot. So let's see, where are we? Side lunge steps. We just did those. Curtsy lunge rows, you guys. Sorry, I've got way too many things on my head, on my mind right now. Curtsy lunge, down into a row. Big step left, crossover. Big step right, crossover. And then we're really trying to pull our shoulder blades together in the back. So again, the name of my website, so the one that you want to go to check out more about this type of workout, or if you're interested in joining my group, mommytummyfix.com. The goal is that I designed this program for women to basically help you rehab your bodies after childbirth. Let's see, I'm going to see what the next exercise. Our next is our alternating reverse lunges. It's just something that we don't do enough of, you guys, and especially you ladies out there. Everyone needs to rehab their body after having a baby, period. Like it's something that, so the reverse lunges, it's something that we don't do enough of. Those postpartum wellness checks, it's usually just kind of like a, okay, you know, you're 6 weeks out, like let's check you out, okay, everything looks good, pat you on the shoulder and wish you good luck. You know, you just got through this 9-month, well in most cases, it's about 9 months, this 9-month ordeal where you grew a child, you then pushed that child out of your body, and at 6 weeks, you're just expected to recover. And they say, well, your body's gonna naturally take care of this. Nobody talks about abdominal rehab. Nobody talks about pelvic floor rehab. Just two crucial components to the postpartum recovery process. And so that's what my program's all about. Let's see, we did alternating reverse, so just side crunch right. That's what my program's all about, you guys. The goal is to help you to not only avoid the wrong exercises and perform the right exercises to heal your core and also your pelvic floor, but then there's a lot more that goes into it than just abdominal rehab. You know, everybody that I work with, these postpartum women will come into me and we'll talk about a plan to rehab their abs, but then they'll also say things, well, what about this extra 10 or 15 pounds that I'm carrying around? What about this pooch? What do I do about my tummy? How come I still look pregnant when I gave birth 6 months ago? And so then that's where we start talking about things like activity level. We start talking about things like LISS cardio and some ideas of what they can do to increase that. But then we also have to address eating. You can't outwork a bad diet, you guys. There's no simpler way to put it. If you're still, so let's see, side crunches to the left, or standing side crunch to the left. If you're trying to put in the work, if you're doing the exercises, if you're doing the activity, and then you're eating like crap, like there's no wonder that you're still not seeing the progress that you want. Focus on what I'm doing here, you guys. I'm going to fall over. It's no wonder that you're not seeing the progress that you want. So those are the things that I try to address in my program. So with the Mommy Tummy Fix program, you get not only a progression of the right core exercises to help you rehab your abs, you get a progression of the right pelvic floor exercises to help you to rehab your pelvic floor. But then we've also included healthy eating advice and clean eating tips and just the simplest way that we can create to help you to eat better and to help you to see more of an improvement with that. And then, like I said, there's this LISS cardio guide. Let's see, scap pinches are our last one. There's this LISS cardio guide that you guys should check out also, because a lot of times what I found is people are just working out too intense. People are trying to do too much too soon. They end up hurting themselves. This is after having a child. And they don't realize that there's different ways to work out, and there's different ways to preferentially train different areas of your body and to pull from different energy sources. And if you don't want to use those carbohydrates as that energy source, if you're sick of being stuck on that plateau, it's time we start thinking a little bit differently. It's time that we maybe start to do things a little bit differently, just to pull from that last, or this is our last low interval, to pull from that different energy source and to hopefully help you guys to start to see some of the progress that you're after. You guys, we have 5 seconds left on this one. 3, 2, and 1. Just like that. Had to hear the bell. Okay, fantastic job, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that what we did here clarifies some of the questions that you might have. I hope that you have a better understanding of LISS and low intensity steady state cardio, what that looks like, what that should look like for your unique individual needs. If you guys like this, again, I'd love that thumbs up button. That helps it to get out there in the YouTube world. I appreciate that. Subscribe to our channel, that red subscribe button right over there. You can hit that. If you guys have any questions or suggestions for me, or even ideas for future videos you'd like to see from Tone and Tighten, please leave those down in a comment below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Hey, before you go, make sure you subscribe to Tone and Tighten by clicking on the circle button right down below. Also, if you're looking for more low-intensity, steady-state cardio workouts, these are two of my favorites. I shot those just for you. Thanks again for watching here on Tone and Tighten. We'll see you again next time.